There's your Neato vacuum cleaner doing this. The red light's flashing and won't do anything. Just beeps at you, won't go off and do a clean. Press and holding this button for about 10 seconds or so. Turns off, does a reboot, turn it back on again. Sometimes that works, but this time won't do anything. So what we need to do is plug into the computer to diagnose the fault. Sometimes it's a sensor that maybe needs cleaning or replacing. But before we go into the software side of things, I just showed here the Neato all dismantled into its various parts. It's fairly easy to get apart, but what you will need is a T10 screwdriver, which is like a star type end onto it, which is that sort of end onto it. It's called a T10, and you'll need that to get down into some of these deeper holes, so it needs to be about that long. So you've got 10 of those screws which are T10 headed, and they go into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then on the top cover you've got a couple going here, 9, 10, four black ones will come to later as well. So when I do these videos, I always like to get to a position where I fixed it before I go to the effort of doing too much work on the video. So you'll be relieved to hear that I've actually fixed my Neato and the reboot me error is no longer there and it actually works. So I did actually plug in the software, plug in the PC. Here is the actual micro USB socket. Plugs in from this end. Need a USB to micro USB cable to plug into your PC. And got the software running, did interrogate it. Didn't actually need any new parts in the end, as I think other people have found on these. The software initially indicated the left drop sensor, which is this little circuit board down here, just pointing with my finger. So I took that out, held in by a little plastic clip on the end, just lever it off slightly. Had a look at it, cleaned out the dust, put it back. One part of the software I was using on the PC was showing it wasn't working, but that's just a software bug. And on the other part of the software showed that it was working. But having taken out the connectors, hoovered off and cleaned and blowed off the circuit board, funnily enough, the whole thing then started working again. So it's possible there was just some dust in the drop sensor, dust on the circuit board. So hopefully it'll be something like that. In your case, I think other people have actually gone to the expense of changing the sensor. They report you can get the sensor on eBay, but I think they've had the same issue that probably wasn't the sensor and probably just a dust build-up in the sensors. So we'll look at the software later. What I'm going to do now is reassemble everything, so you'll see how it comes apart. Obviously you'll do it in reverse order to my assembly. And the computer side of things will come to afterwards, because you can get access to this port while the whole thing is assembled. Just have to take out the dustbin. So first, the easiest part, reassemble the top cover, put all those screws in. So a couple here, and then we'll do the underneath ones as well. That's quite straightforward. So it's 8 screws here, here, and the other side. Over there, got the battery cover back on. That's a very straightforward Phillips or flat-headed screwdriver needed for that. And we have the brush, well worth regularly taking out and cleaning off all the hairs and things. Seem to have the remains of a washer on, I think, is it this end? Possibly. Don't think that really is doing anything nowadays anyhow. Mostly all worn off. Not sure it's worth fitting that. Probably not. But note the hexagonal end goes in that drive end. And this end, there's 2 flat parts either side like that. That poking out piece of plastic points towards the middle of the units like so. Reassembling this brush piece of plastic is quite straightforward. As these positions go like that, they're clips. And then there's clips under here. And if we have a look, you can see there's a little bit of plastic that clips on. It's got a little hook on it. And putting it back into place is dead easy, because just push it down like so. To remove them, what you want to do is get a flat bladed screwdriver in there, pull up at the back while levering the screwdriver, pushing the screwdriver towards the middle of the unit, and that just pops off quite easily like so. Back in place. The next piece is the retainer for these little runners that have a shaft that easily comes out and get lost. Let's just put them in place first of all. One like that, the other one like that. And make sure they stay in that position while you assemble. This retaining piece of plastic, it also has a piece of plastic that sticks on the edge in that sort of position that just presses with some plastic poking through these holes. Make sure they stay in position. See, they easily pop out. Let's just push those down again. And pretty much it is a two-handed operation to keep that piece of plastic in place and to keep these rollers in place. You see, they easily pop out. I think that's it. Once you've got the plastic in the right position, it holds this other piece of plastic pretty much. And then you've got 4 holes here for the black screws to go in, and again T10 headed screws. The side brush is just held on magnetically, that easily lifts on off, like so. Then on the top side, you've got 2 more screws going either side here. You've got holes. And to get to these ones, you have to have removed the bumper panel, which we'll put on in a minute. So let me just put these screws back in place, shouldn't take too long. So here is the bumper panel. Let's just zoom out. This just clips on. And you can see these side clips here where my thumb is. So you just have to pull out on the sides when dismantling it to unclip it, and it should pull off from the front. Reassembling should be dead easy. Let's see. Just have to lever it out again. Think, see if there's anything stopping it, and exactly how that's going to go. Yeah, it's also going to go in these slots here, so to get that lined up, push down, and there we are. That's the bumper panel activating the micro switches. So then just back in with the dustbin, and that should then be working. So it's powered down. So just a reminder again, hold that button for 10 seconds till you hear a beep, and that powers it down. Press it again to turn it on. That sequence is the rebooting of the device. You could also just unplug the battery from underneath as well, once you've got access to the battery compartment. Takes a little while to boot up. It's got to find the Wi-Fi connection. Hopefully that being reassembled should show that it works. Wait a bit longer for it to boot up. There's the noise. Blue flashes as it's finding the Wi-Fi, I believe. Press the button. Powering up, the fans are working. Might object to not being on the base. Maybe not. Checking surroundings. And off it goes. So it is actually working a lot better than it was before anyhow. Wasn't doing anything before. So next we'll look at the software side of things and how you interrogate the device and what software you need to download. As is often the case with electronic products, the internet is your friend for fixing things. So Google up the Reboot Me error and the Neato D5 vacuum cleaner. And there was this item on Reddit which referenced a software tool that somebody had written called Neato Tulio. So I searched for that, comes up with this web address, which just be aware that on the Microsoft Edge browser comes out completely blank. Probably some security restrictions on it, nothing on it at all. So going on to Chrome properly lists it, and if you go down, the easiest way to install it is to download the Windows installer. Now just be aware that downloading executables from the internet is a little bit dangerous because they can be infected with viruses. So just be aware of the danger and preferably scan it after you've downloaded it. So let's put it, clicking on it, puts it into the download area. You're in the folder, so slow PCs. And I've already downloaded it once, as you can see here. So what you should do is scan it with at least Windows Defender and any other virus checkers that you've got on there. So there you've got scan with Windows Defender. Does a basic check for malicious software that's on it. 0 threats found. That's fine. And what I also had to do, I believe you go on the properties of the file for crappy Windows will allow you to install it. You have to unblock it. So click on that unblock. Because again, it's a security feature. Then run it, double click on it, and it'll install the software. And you'll find it under Neato Tulio. And then this is the software. This is the cable, a micro USB type of connector on one end. That goes into your Neato, as I showed you before. USB-A into the computer. And then have a play around with the settings in the menu after you're obviously connected. I had to use the serial connection method. Allowed it to auto detect, seemed to work fine. And then have a look at the sensors menu, put your hand over the drop sensors to see if the readings change. The left-hand sensor didn't seem to read on that menu, but the next menu, as you can see here, it is actually registering, showing it working correctly. And you can also test the LiDAR that spins it up and gives you graphic maps of what the LiDAR is seeing to see if that is working. So some of these menus might indicate which sensors or parts of the device have failed if you've got other errors. And there we go, just to show the Neato's all back to fully working again. Here it is on a time lapse doing a short section of my hall where it's constrained just to this area. They're quite nice devices because they scan the room and clean it thoroughly without over cleaning it to a regular pattern. So it goes up and down in stripes, as you can see here, and provides you with a cleaning map afterwards to show what it's cleaned, and also measures the number of square feet of your house and what it's cleaned. So yeah, I could recommend these Neato devices. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope this video is useful if you've got a Neato and if you have any problems with it. Thanks, and don't forget to subscribe for some other useful videos, mainly on DIY. Have a go. Cheers. Bye.